In today's wrap-up, Nagorno-Karabakh has confirmed its first case of COVID-19. We'll bring you the details of the Prime Minister's livestream Q&A session yesterday evening. Armenia reports a second day of low increases in newly confirmed cases. And Putin and Nikol Pashinyan held a phone conversation discussing the price of Russian gas in Armenia. Nagorno-Karabakh has confirmed its first case of COVID-19. The Nagorno-Karabakh Health Ministry sent 2 samples to Armenia for testing, one of which came back positive. The positively tested patient has now been hospitalized and 17 people who were in contact with the patient are now in isolation. Other contacts are being tracked down. It is also worth noting that the positively tested patient lives in the village of Mirik, which is in a sparsely populated area far from the population cluster around Stepanakert. There were numerous calls from Armenia and Karabakh to postpone the March 31st elections in Karabakh due to the pandemic. However, the Nagorno-Karabakh government decided not to postpone the vote, stating that it had taken all the necessary measures to minimize the risks. The second round of presidential elections are due on April 14th. It is not yet clear as of yet if the government will postpone the election. Yesterday evening, Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan answered a number of questions put forward by the public in a livestream Q&A on Facebook. The PM answered a number of questions on the coronavirus pandemic and what the government could have done better. For example, Pashinyan stated that perhaps the government should have suspended flights to Italy earlier, although he pointed out people could just fly through Vienna or Athens. He also gave information on a new military weapon being developed in Armenia, as well as how negotiations have been launched regarding Gazprom Armenia's gas price hike. Moreover, he spoke about the tourism sector, which is under strain due to the pandemic. He stated that the government will pay half of the salaries of those working in the sector. Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan reported a second day of low increases in newly infected patients, with only 20 people testing positive. Furthermore, 25 patients have recovered and were discharged from hospital, marking the first time where the number of recoveries was greater than the number of newly confirmed cases. Pashinyan also stated that 1,400 beds have been made available for COVID-19 patients, but added that only half of those beds are currently occupied, meaning capacity is not stretched as of yet. The Prime Minister stated that if this trend continues, the government will consider easing restrictions next Monday. On top of this, $500,000 will be allocated to increase production of domestically made test kits, so that the number of tested people can be increased from 200 to 400 a day to 1,000. And finally, Putin and Nikol Pashinyan held a phone conversation discussing the price of Russian gas in Armenia. Armenia imports around 80% of its gas from Russia. Gas prices were increased at the start of 2019, with Gazprom Armenia, a subsidiary of Russia's gas giant Gazprom, intending to increase prices further in July. Currently, households entitled to social benefits are charged $200 a year for 600 cubic meters of natural gas annually. Gazprom Armenia's plan is to increase the rate by about 36%, which means that some Armenian consumers will be charged around $270 instead. According to reports, negotiations are underway, with the Russian and Armenian leaders discussing the situation and how to find a possible solution. Սիվիլնեթ's Tatul Hagopyan wrote an op-ed about the frontrunner in Nagorno-Karabakh's presidential elections, Arayik Harutyunyan, and how he won favor with authorities in Yerevan, paving his way to the presidential palace in Stepanakert. Hagopyan criticized Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and Parliament Speaker Ararat Mirzoyan for covertly supporting Arayik Harutyunyan, who is considered an oligarch in Karabakh and has acquired numerous businesses and agricultural plots while serving as head of government in Karabakh. According to Hagopyan, the values of Armenia's revolution have not transferred to Karabakh, and pragmatism and political calculations oftentimes prevail in politics.